I think this is the right, very right step. We agreed that we will work on the infrastructure of security guarantees in the coming days. We will wait for our partners, some partners, because we need to work out the basis of this in Ukraine. Thanks. And yesterday, the Eiffel Tower demonstrated to the whole world what support Ukraine is. I thank you very much for having our national colors. Thank you very much.
France Television. Thank you for your hospitality. Please, first question, France Television. Stephanie Perez, France Television.
Mr. President, Emmanuel Macron this morning emphasized that the greatest uncertainty remains regarding the peace negotiations led by the United States. He also said that the United States is a weak ally. Do you share this opinion?
Thank you for your question. I will ask technically if it is possible to translate from French into Ukrainian to make it louder for me. Otherwise, I will only hear Emmanuel Macron in the question and that's it. And you need to understand what the question was about. Definitely. Of course, America is important. Very important. And the solutions that America can now demonstrate. They can influence, they can really affect stopping the war, stopping Putin's desire, because he really wants it. And he really wants to divide Europe and America. It is Putin who wants this. And his whole Kremlin machine, it has been working on it for several years. By the way, in the first year of division, weakening of Europe, weakening of the European Union, weakening of the United States of America, division of the United States of America itself in terms of support for Ukraine. Or not support. And that's why it's his wish. We want America to be stronger. I agree with Emmanuel that we all need, and this is not even a question, but a desire, and we need it so that America is stronger in relation to Russia. We really want the President of the United States to be stronger in relation to the owner of the Kremlin. And why you need to work with this moment. It is necessary to work at the level of leaders, at the level of both official and other formats of diplomacy, to work with the White House.
Thanks. Please, Public Television of Ukraine.
Good afternoon, Valeria Pashko, Suspilny. Mr. President, we are talking about America. There was information that a new agreement on minerals between Ukraine and the United States was being prepared. So, I have a question. Can you reveal the details, or are we more satisfied with this project than we were a few weeks ago? And maybe you are going to go again to Washington to sign this agreement again? Thank you very much.
I'm not going to go to Washington yet. Because, firstly, there is no such issue on the agenda. Secondly, we have a lot of these agreements on minerals. And therefore, I would like to treat this not theoretically, but practically. When will there be a final version from the United States of America of this or that treaty, another treaty? Because conditions are constantly changing. And it seems to me that we have already agreed that there will be a framework agreement and then a full agreement. And now, as I understand it, the Ukrainian-American teams are working on this because America is now changing these rules and offering a full agreement right away. And a full agreement requires a detailed study of this. Because these are serious agreements that are ratified in the parliament. But before all this, it is necessary for lawyers to work again. That is, at first the lawyers worked on one transaction, then on the second. In the end, they agreed on a framework agreement. Now there are new rules. Well, you know, we have to act with restraint here. I would say how we try to act constantly. Yes, calmly, do not be nervous, but look at the deal, lawyers will study. There are adequate things we will support. If there are questions, questions are always answered. Therefore, it is too early to talk about an agreement, the version of which has changed several times. But I wouldn't want to have a feeling in the United States of America that Ukraine is against, in general. We constantly showed our positive signals. We do not want to give any signals for cooperation with the United States that the United States should be encouraged to stop Ukrainian aid or stop intelligence sharing. It is important for us to preserve all this. And that's why we act constructively every day.
Thanks. Colleagues, please raise your hands more actively so that I can see who wants to ask questions. But for now, the Inter-Ukraine TV channel.
Good afternoon. Nina Kolomites, Inter TV channel, United News Marathon. President Macron said following today's summit that a Franco-British mission should go to Kiev to determine what can be done to support Ukraine's troops. Please tell us the details that you know, when this will happen, what exactly is it about, and does this agreement include the sending of a military contingent? Is there an understanding based on the results of today's big meeting, in general, which countries are ready to do this? In what terms? To what extent? Are there any specifics?
We dedicate, thank you for asking, we dedicate with President Macron and with Prime Minister Starmer and with other leaders. There is a lot of attention now on infrastructure, as I said, future infrastructure, security guarantees for Ukraine. An important part of this infrastructure is our army, its financing, strengthening the armed forces of Ukraine. We are working on this, and this is also today again a common emphasis of all countries, that Russia cannot dictate about the number of our army. Not now, not in the future. They can talk about something inside their country, it's not interesting. But they cannot dictate the rules for the defense of Ukraine. And it is important that they do not have support in this direction. In Europe, we see that they have no support. Most countries, at least the entire coalition that met today, all support that the country should maintain a strong army which today resists the Russian invasion. And it is important that there is such an attitude in the United States, so today's meeting also transmits such a signal to the United States and others. As for furthermore, in addition to our army, security guarantors, this also applies to the contingent. There are many suggestions from leaders. And there are more of them. The fact that the countries that are ready are increasing. Who and how will help, everyone is different. Someone in the sky, someone with air defense, someone really with boots on the ground, and someone at sea. They are ready to give Ukraine security guarantees and send their contingents. There are more such countries. This is good news. Regarding the actions, responsibilities, modalities of this continent, what it can do, how to apply it, who will manage it, there are many questions. So far, there are few answers. There will be a meeting. As Emmanuel said, I think that others will join the Franco-British one, someone else can join. And they will join in order to look at the basis that Ukraine has prepared. As we see it, where we see it, the quantity